Welcome to Coach's Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. Week 5 of high school football. Actually, it's week 6 because we had week 0 in there. Let's go to our top rushers. Brock Borgo of Hampton, 202 yards. Logan Kushner, North Allegheny, 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. Evan Wright of Mars, 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ethan Allwine of Knock, 111 yards and 3 touchdowns. And freshman quarterback Aaron Strader of Pine Richland, 101 yards. You'll be able to see all these athletes between NA and Pine Richland on our broadcast of that game this week. Passing, Logan Kushner, North Allegheny, 264 yards and 3 touchdowns, all in the first half. He threw for 264 in the first half.
Impressive.
So he finished the game with 396 total yards and 5 touchdowns. Drew Ross of Freeport, 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sean O'Shea, Seneca Valley, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns in a 55-0 win over Butler. This is the Raiders' 15th straight win in the series. They just dominated.
Doesn't surprise us, though.
Yes. Codi Mullen of Knock, 197 yards in a 41-21 win over Deer Lakes. Luke Goodworth, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns in Mars' 48-15 win over Highlands. And Mars returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns, 71 yards by Gabe Hine and 80 yards by Eric Kasparovich. Receiving,
Stop right there.
2 kickoff returns.
Listen.
Yeah.
There's a theme on this show and on all our shows. It's bad enough you return 1. Don't kick the ball deep. Squib kick it. Let them start to 35 instead of in the end zone. I don't understand it.
Well, you talk about squib kick. I'm going to mention when I was coaching at Butler, I was coaching special teams. We're playing Woodland Hills. And so that week the coach said, let's work on our coverage. So before the game, he goes, squib it. I said, we worked all week. He says, squib it. So we squibbed it. And the kid, I forget his first name, Williams, went to Syracuse, I believe. He picked it up. Went 75 yards for a touchdown. So much for squibbing. Kyron Boyd of North Allegheny. He caught 5 passes for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns, all in the first half. Brady Sullivan of Freeport, 6 for 125 yards and a TD. Gabe Hine of Mars, 4 for 114 yards, 3 touchdowns, one of them that kickoff return. Jackson Bauman of Knock, 8 for 105 yards and a TD. And Madden Wisniewski of Freeport, 4 for 51 yards. In girls volleyball, here's a top effort performance of the year. Ella Nakotra of Mars, she had 21 kills, 5 aces, and 9 digs. Not bad for one game, huh?
Pretty good.
And girls volleyball rankings in 4A, number 1 is North Allegheny, number 2 Seneca Valley, number 6 Pine Richland, and number 9 Butler. In 3A, number 1 Hampton, number 2 North Catholic, number 7 Knock, and in 2A, number 1 Freeport, number 8 Elwood City, and number 10 Beaver Falls.
Yeah, Coach Trudy has a good program going there, no question.
And in boys soccer rankings in 4A, number 1 Seneca Valley, they're undefeated. Number 2 NA, they're undefeated, and number 3 Butler. And in 3A, number 1 is Hampton. Girls soccer rankings, 4A, number 1, undefeated North Allegheny. Number 4, Seneca Valley. In 3A, who else but undefeated Mars. And in 2A, number 2, North Catholic. And our football power rankings, 6A, it's undefeated Central Catholic, followed by North Allegheny, Canamac, and Mount Lebanon. And 5A, hey, this Peters Township, they must be pretty good.
Great defensively.
They bopped Seneca Valley.
Great defensively.
Yeah, they're undefeated, followed by Penn Hills, Upper St. Clair, Woodland Hills, and Pine Richland. In 4A, Aliquippa, TJ, McKeesport, Central Valley, and Montour. And in 3A, Elizabeth Forward, Bell Vernon, Avonworth, Mount Pleasant, and Knock. I'm almost want to put Avonworth up higher for that win over Central.
Why don't you, Eddie? What's the reason?
Yeah, I should.
What's the reason why you have them up there?
Well, I like Bell Vernon. They're very talented. And then Elizabeth Forward, 6-0, too. I think they're a pretty good team.
I think Avonworth is a team.
Here's an argument to put them up higher.
The Avonworth victory over Grove City, people didn't realize Grove City's good.
Very good. Well, we noticed that last week.
Absolutely.
And in 2A, it's Washington, followed by undefeated Westinghouse, Still Valley, Mohawk, and Imani Christian. Westinghouse has won like 20 of their last 21 games. Only loss was the state championship game to Southern Columbia.
They're heading there again.
Yeah.
The way by their scores, it looks like they're really that good.
And they'll be at Butler this Friday night. And in 1A, it's Bishop Canevin, Southside Beaver, Cornell Union, and Clairton. Let's go to our stories of the week. Webster's dictionary defines trouncing, as to thrash, punish, or defeat severely. Thus, Houston 30, Steelers 6. That fulfills the definition. Houston piled up 451 total yards. The Steelers 225. Steelers had no sacks. Now they did something. They ran at Watt. They weren't afraid to run the ball at him, and they ran at Hightower. I remember always coaches would say, "Don't run away from this guy because he's going to chase you down and catch you from behind." So that was pretty good strategy. And let me say this: Houston coach D'Amico Ryans, pretty good player, right, Albert? Pretty good coach.
He wasn't until this game.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
Hadn't won a home game in 2 years.
He wasn't until this game.
Is this his first full year? He took over the middle of last year, right?
Yes.
Okay. But I heard someone on one of those talk shows in Pittsburgh that the Steelers got beat by a JV coach. And I'm thinking, what? What's
There's no JV coaches.
There's no JV coaches. This guy's played the game.
Wait
He was
a
the
minute.
San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator,
This is
was he
called
not?
not doing your homework.
Right.
They were lamenting the other day how lousy Virginia Tech was, so they put that whooping on them. And their criteria was Virginia Tech losing to Marshall. The same Marshall won at Notre Dame last year.
And I was gonna get to that when we get to Pitt, because on the same sports show, the same guy said, well, Pitt lost to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech got beat by Marshall last
Like
week.
that's
20
not-
Marshall's 4-0 or 5-0, and they have votes for the top 25. When you don't know what you're talking about,
Don't
as
say
you're
it.
saying, don't say a
No,
word.
I'll tell you, I said this on Twitter. I would take Marshall against Pitt on a neutral anytime.
And I like what D'Amico Ryan's doing there with Houston. You know, they have 10 rookies on that team. The Steelers had no sacks. First half.
Well, that's the answer right there.
Yeah.
They only win when they dominate the deep offensive line.
Wow.
You know, and they didn't dominate that offensive line.
And the Steelers offense only had 50 yards in the first half, and they didn't cross the 50 in the first quarter. 2 losses this season for the Steelers, 60-13 outscored. Now listen, I found this out. In their last 30 games, they've been blown out 7 times with losses of 20 points or more. Mm-hmm. So this talk once again about the elite defense used to come in averaging 2.8 yards a rush. They rush for 139 yards.
Yeah, they're up and down, but they have to depend on their defense to win. There's no question about that.
Well, you can start counting on the Browns 2 touchdowns from the defense.
Yeah.
I don't think you can count on that every week.
No, that's the way they win,
No.
right?
What were they averaging point-wise? The Steelers may only be averaging 12 points a game.
We talked about
offensively.
I started off the show by saying offensive line. I'll say it again. If you have it.
But see, this is funny. The guy can't play there at all. They run him out of town.
Who's
And he
that?
blocks them fine. Green. The guy, the lineman for Houston, he blocked
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
he got hurt.
fine.
He got hurt at the end of the game. Kendrick Green. Now Kenny Pickett, he's 15 of 23, 114 yards, interception. They do a lot of rollouts. Here's the thing: you can't survive in the NFL with a rollout quarterback. When you guys, you're looking at a third of the field. You roll left, you roll right. Where I noticed with C.J. Stroud, he's a pocket passer. Something that surprised me how he stood. You know, in 4 games, he's thrown for 1,200 yards, no interceptions. Really looks like, and he's a rookie, how he's grasped this offense right away. Pickett, I'm not saying he won't, but right now he does not have a pocket presence.
I've said it over and over. Stroud did not get rushed. Let's see when he gets rushed. What happens? All those quarterbacks. There's 32 of them in the NFL. They're all fantastic when you don't get rushed.
Well, you
And
know,
they all
it-
look like bums when they get
While
killed.
his first 2 games, he was sacked 11 times.
And that's why they lost.
The last 2 games, he hasn't been sacked.
There's the
no
answer.
interceptions in 3 games.
No interception, 151 passes.
But there's the
without a
answer.
pick.
Houston was 0-2. Why? Because their line didn't hold up. Now their line's playing good. Just a simple. It's the most simple thing I've seen in pro football that has changed the most.
Well, and the Steelers, their last 21 games, they are 11-10. And now they had some injuries. Pickett has a bruised knee. Fryermuth has a hamstring, and defensive end DeMarvin Leal concussion. Not sure who's going to start at quarterback coming up this week.
As I say all the time, except for the Eagles and the 49ers, every team's 11-10. Maybe Buffalo. They're it's a parity league.
Well,
People beat everybody every week.
Let me say, this has become the standard for the Steelers. They're like 46-41 their last 87 games, somewhere in there. And anymore just saying, well, they haven't had a losing season in 16 years. That rings hollow anymore. In the NFL, it's about playoff wins and it's about Lombardies, not just winning seasons. So Tomlin says there are going to be changes. I don't know what that means. What does it mean?
Can't be much. There's not much you can do.
You're going to change Canada. You bring in maybe Harry Houdini for some magic. I don't know what he's going to change. I don't know what he's referring to. Do you know?
There aren't enough guys. It's only 2 strings.
Yeah, there's a bridge in Pittsburgh for years. You say the bridge to nowhere, and the Steelers are on that bridge right now. Supposedly, this offensive line was rebuilt. They brought in, 3 new players?
As everybody thought.
#1 draft pick. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing it. Are you guys?
That's the weakness.
So they're home this week against Baltimore. Baltimore 3-1. They crushed the Browns 28-3. Did I praise the Browns defense last week?
You did.
Lamar Jackson threw for 2, ran for 2. Baltimore's George, slight favorite in this?
Yep.
2 points or
4.5.
something? Is it up to 4.5? How do you guys see this game?
So once again, it's the NFL. If you don't watch the game, you think Baltimore's going to kill them. That's what you think. But it's never the same.
You're right. The NFL should be the WWNFL, the wild NFL, like that old Western, the Wild West. You just don't know what's going to happen. Look at Denver beat up last week, gave up 70. They were losing 28-7. Next thing I know, they won the game, 31-28. That's how bad the Bears are.
Yeah, Tampa.
And that's how bad their coach. He has a field goal to win the game. He goes for 4th and 1 on the 24.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Do you, George?
I
That's the new math. I know where his math would be today. He'd be looking for a check.
Someone said to me yesterday, why on 4th and 1 are so many teams during the shotgun? I said, you look around the NFL. That's what they do a lot of times. At times, Pickett ran a quarterback sneak for first down. On that 4th and 1 play where he got hurt, he tried to roll out. The rookie tackle missed the block, and that's what happened.
Yeah, 90%. That's 9 out of every 10 teams are in the shotgun on 4th and 1 now. I don't like it at all. I like going under center. You can quarterback sneak, you can run it quick, and you can play action pass and still throw the ball.
I said it before. I said it when 42-year-old Tom Brady could run a quarterback sneak for first down. And how about Tennessee thrashing Cincy 27-3? There's something wrong. The Bengals, George, you said it. They're not going to turn it around this year as they've done the last 2. Burrow is struggling, 139 yards.
Receiver's already complaining he's always open. That's always a bad sign.
Now, was he rushed back too soon? Should they maybe have not started in the first 2 games and let that calf injury heal?
Once again, I'll say, put me on tape replay. He's running for his life every possession. And they all look lousy when they're blocking.
Right.
I listened to the Cincinnati Bengals station. They said, I've never seen an offensive line play this worse. I said they should have started the Steelers. It's just the Giants.
But should they have rested him with that calf injury?
You say it now, but that's not the reason they're losing. They're losing because they can't block. They can't block a soul.
Tennessee beat them up.
Tennessee beat them up. And Tennessee the week before against the Browns had 96 yards.
Yeah,
it's the NFL.
It's a wild NFL.
Especially on the road.
Well, will they get healthy? Next up for Cincy 1-3. They're at Arizona 1-3. Cincy by 7.
Yeah, Arizona. One thing they're wanting something, but they're playing tough.
They really are.
Dallas.
Arizona is really 4 games in a row. They played good.
They were beating the Skins the whole game.
Yes,
they had the Giants 21-0.
They have played good.
Hey, Buffalo 48, Miami 20 after scoring 70. What a difference. The week before against Denver, they put that up. But Josh,
you remember what we said 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You remember what you said on the show?
Yeah.
This team's not doing any good this year. This team, it was Buffalo.
Yeah.
See, you cannot say that. I'm telling you, George, me, we're all over Josh Allen. Like, well, he can't play this way. There's no way he can play
Yeah,
this way.
he went from throwing 4
Yeah,
interceptions.
he can play that
The
way.
4 touchdown
That's the way
pass.
he plays.
He was
And they're, he's just he's a talented kid.
Perfect, almost 21 to 25 for 325 yards and 4 TDs.
And a running
Just-
touchdown too.
Yeah, they just dominated the game.
Killed.
Like we said in the NFL, you score 50 or 60 one week, the next week points are hard to come
Yeah,
by.
they lose a lot.
So the Bills 3-1. Next up, they got a tough game with the Jaguars. The Bills favored by 4.5.
It's in London, by the way.
Is it in
It's
London?
in London.
I thought the Jags were just
They
there.
stayed over
stayed.
there.
They
They
stayed.
stayed.
Yeah.
And, did I mention last week the NFL is expanding to Spain and Brazil for games?
Should have.
They're going everywhere they can.
It's happening.
Yeah.
But Jacksonville's another team that's been disappointing. I
Oh,
understand they start off the year terrible.
Miami's going may put up 70 again this
And-
week.
and
They play the
Jacksonville,
Giants.
That beating Atlanta, I know that guy's not a pro quarterback.
Ritter.
I know that. I might not know everything, but that guy is not a pro.
At least you know his name.
Yep.
Bradshaw didn't know his name.
Yeah.
But
that's-
Miami next with the Giants, they're favored by 9. I
Wow.
can't see if the Giants would beat them, then throw everything out the window.
Yeah.
Hey, Dallas 38, New England 3. Belichick's worst loss since the 31-0 loss to Buffalo in 2003, where they went on to win the Super Bowl. But he had a different quarterback.
Yes, he
Matt
did.
Jones is struggling. I don't see him being the answer anymore. I really believe you'll see New England draft a quarterback next year. You got Bo Nix, you got May, and there are a few others out
Well,
there. He's just not getting it done.
And don't forget, Belichick bought these groceries too.
Yeah.
He's not the cook. Just the cook.
Mac Jones was better his rookie year than he's been the last 2.
2 weeks ago, Eddie, once again, I keep going back. Every paper in the United States said, what a reunion between O'Brien and Mac Jones. Because he threw for 350 yards. Like the first 2 games, he was throwing the ball over the
Yeah.
field. It's the NFL. You get blocking, you're okay. If you don't, you look like some bum.
Well, Belichick, his best quip of the week last week when he said Travis Kelce
Yeah.
getting
did
Taylor
have it.
Swift's the best catch of his career. Other than that, it's been downhill. He's 26 and 28 since the GOAT left, and just struggling. Can't find that quarterback until they do. They're not going to fix it. But you look at all the dynasties. Where would Miller Huggins be without Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig? Where would Casey Stengel be without DiMaggio, Barrett, Mantle,
question.
and Maris? And where would Santa Claus be without the reindeers?
It's a
He'd still
fact.
be stuck in the North Pole. You need those horses.
Yeah, but the thing about it, they rave about Belichick. I said it forever. I know how good a coach he is. But they never rave about Noel. They never rave about Walsh. They rave about
Well,
Belichick.
we rave about Noel here. Noel,
Yeah, but I'm talking about
Noel was great.
nationwide,
Oh,
you know.
nationwide, yeah.
And the world's different today too with
Yeah.
social media. Those guys, they had to deal with one press conference a week.
Right, that's
I mean,
all.
today
It's
this
all
guy's
over the
way
place.
too. You know, how many of these colleges the coach is more famous than the school?
That's true. Most players go to college for the
Absolutely.
coach. For the coach.
Kansas City 23, the Jets 20, and a bizarre ending of the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game. There were like 6 penalties. Move this way, back, another penalty here, move here, and then the critical call on Sauce Gardner. What do you guys think about that call? Was it
He
a
was
holding?
choking him out.
Okay, everyone says it was a bad call.
I say it's a bad call.
But
But
his arms around his
It
neck.
happened because it happened the whole game. They showed it. If you watch in the network, 7 times it happened during the game and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
Why the 8th time you call
Yeah.
it? But if you're going to be
But-
in a normal situation,
Albert-
George is right. In a normal situation, it's a penalty. But
Yeah.
if you're going to call it like that for
Yeah, you
8
gotta call it
games,
all night.
then you don't call it again.
Well, Albert, let me tell you, I was driving down Route 8 years ago. Cars were passing me by. I got pulled over and got a speeding ticket. And I said, what about all those other cars? He said, I caught you.
You know, it
That's
was
the way it is.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true. But
Yeah.
still,
That's what happens in
the,
games.
The key to great officiating is
Consistent.
consistency.
That was Genie's
Well,
brother.
That's it.
Well, no,
Genie's brother,
and
too.
the one,
That's what it was, George.
in the one play that was a first down, a key play, the Kansas City Chiefs tackle grabbed
Yeah.
the defensive end. There was no call on it. Now, here's all I'm going to say. I'm not defending the officials. That game is so fast.
Oh, jeez.
They just miss things at times.
And
Plain
the
and
slide.
simple.
Now hold it. I want to do the slide because I heard, oh, he's so smart. They were up 9. You can't lose up
Right.
9.
Why didn't he
I don't want to
score?
hear how smart that
Why didn't
slide
he score?
was.
I thought he
I
should
have
have
no
Yeah,
scored.
we're up
idea.
9. You should go in.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Now, if you're up 7, I'll
Yes.
buy it on the outside. but
I'll
not
buy
nine.
that.
But he goes in, it's 30-20 with a minute 30 to go.
Yeah, you can't. I'm saying, oh, that was smart. They didn't give him the ball back for what, a 9-point touchdown.
Hey, they're raving about Zach Wilson. He passed for 240, but he did have that critical fumble there late in the fourth quarter. Did he play much better than expected? He did.
1,000 times better because
Yeah.
because they block for him. I called George during the game. I said, you understand, when he gets blocking, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
When you're running for your life, you look like
I'll
a
tell you
bum.
what, he went from blaming the wind to coming in after the game and saying it's on me.
Yeah.
Maybe he's figured a
That's
little.
nice, George. That's nice.
But he didn't do that last year.
No, he
No.
blamed the wind.
Hey, quickly, our power rankings, and this thing's changing from it's San Francisco undefeated, the Eagles, only 2 remaining undefeated. I have the Bills number 3, the Chiefs 4th, the Lions 5th, Dallas 6th, Miami 7th, Baltimore 8th, Tampa Bay, and Seattle.
You went through that too quick. We've been on the Steelers. I'm on the Steelers. You guys are. How many undefeated teams are left?
2.
That's what I said. Everybody loses in the pros. Now, if Pittsburgh loses to Baltimore this week, then get on them. This will be a big game of the year. Are they in Pittsburgh, George, right?
It's in Pittsburgh.
They need this game badly.
I would have Dallas a little higher. The only thing there.
Yeah, I just kind of they're up and down.
Yeah, well, they're at
A little
San Fran
bit.
Sunday. They
How
better
about what
play.
Arizona
we'll
did to
see.
them?
Yeah,
That was the big talk
NFL.
last week. Arizona crushed them like they weren't even there.
Bob, when you figure out the NFL, let us
That's what
know.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
Send us a
absolutely.
letter.
Especially
Let us know.
on the road. You better bring your stuff.
That's true, George.
College football, 12th ranked Slippery Rock, 42, IUP 21. The Rock 5-0, piled up 485 yards against the PSAC's number 1 defense. Quarterback Braden Long, 18-23, 277. Running back Khalid Dorsey, 123 yards, 2 TDs. And they got 2 of the best receivers around. Kyle Sheets caught 5 for 131. Cohen Russell, 5 for 86. Next up for the Rock, they're at Mercyhurst.
There's no
This
surprise
may be his
anymore.
best team.
There's no surprise anymore.
No.
I mean, we're surprised when they lose.
Right.
That's
I
how
said,
Coach
look,
says they're
I'm
going.
tired of checking. I said, I don't know what to say anymore. Every game is a whooping.
Yeah, they're tremendous.
Yeah, they're averaging about 40 points a game. And I think this is his best team because the defense is better. What they didn't have last year, we talked about, they didn't have that rushing game. So they were throwing quite often 45 or 50 passes a game. They don't have to do that now.
I don't know what's better, but I will say they're balanced. Like you said, defense,
Right.
they can win.
I think they're
they
better.
might be able to win 17-10.
Yeah.
They seem like they can run the ball better and more balanced.
Well, and I had him on the show. I said, if I were to tell you that this year your defense would average giving up 20 points a game, would you take it? He said in a second.
Yes.
Right away.
Yes.
Hey, Grove City 31, W&J 24. The Wolverines 5-0 for the first time since 1926. Who was there?
Bill Bourne.
Bill Bourne was there.
OC. Hey, that's a September to remember. Let me tell you. He won't tell you that because they're humble. They've won that league because the first tiebreakers head-to-head, and they've beaten them all. So even if they were to get upset at Geneva, the first tiebreaker is those teams, and they beat all 5 of them.
That's a tremendous win over WJ.
Yes, big
said they're
win.
really
Because
good.
I saw them on TV. They're really, really good. That's a great win for Grove City.
Hey, by the way, with Grove City, his first year they lost them all.
Yeah,
Quite impressive.
right. And we were done 0-9 his first year. Hey, All-American wide receiver Scott Frazier out of Knock High School. He caught 8 for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. I like him. He's 6'4", 210. Someone's going to say, come on into camp. Let's take a look at you. At that size.
They had a better one last year, and they
Yeah, from Shippensburg.
and they couldn't get in. So it's hard making the pros.
Running back Nico Flatt had 127 yards rushing, and he'll be at Geneva on Saturday.
Yeah. That'll be a letdown. You watch that.
It has to happen, doesn't it,
swerve.
George? Yeah.
Virginia Tech 38, Pitt 21, 4th straight loss for Pitt. And here's a Virginia Tech team that was struggling. All of a sudden, they looked like world beaters pounding Pitt. The Hokies just trashed the Pitt defense, which the last 2 weeks has given up 79 points and about 800 yards plus in offense. They controlled the game. The dominance was they had the ball for 38 minutes.
George called that one. George called Virginia Tech.
Well, I just don't think
The meathead, huh?
there's nothing to call there. They're no good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they keep talking about when Pickett comes reverse. Reverse to what? Now, college, we were his biggest fans. Matter of fact, if they didn't get on that Heisman bandwagon late, he may have won it. They were behind. They didn't know how good he was either. But this thing where they're going to play defense, or Penn State doesn't have offense. Clean your own house.
Yeah. Well, for the team that lost to Marshall, they looked pretty good against Pitt. Pitt's fourth straight loss. Djokovic 11 of 22, 235 yards, 2 TDs. At times it looked good, and then other times he makes a terrible throw or he throws it into the turf. I don't know. He's 57 of 113 on the season with 6 TDs and 3 interceptions. So Narduzzi, like Tomlin, changes. They have a bye week before they take on Louisville. Pitt headed for a disastrous season. The last time they were that bad was 1993. They were 3-8 under Johnny Majors.
I guess I have the same theme again. No one's talking about how lousy their offensive line's playing. I'm telling you, I thought that was going to be the strength of their team. I really thought that coming in, they had everybody back. I think Phil still had them rated in one of the top 5 units.
Yeah.
They've done nothing all year but miss blocks. It's been
I know they talk about injuries, but everyone has injuries, and you're supposed to have depth. You should have
at college.
Other guys.
That's it. At college.
You should have other guys. You probably have 15 or 16 offensive linemen. So I don't see him sitting Djokovic, and I just don't see the answer there. And Phil took some shots in.
Hey, who are they beating? Think about their schedule
coming up.
ACC's tough this year.
Yeah, they got Florida State, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Duke coming up.
How about that?
And you think Syracuse will be easy?
They could be 1-10. They really could be.
Hey, hell to the Mountaineers. They went down to TCU, 12-point dogs. They beat them 24-21, 4 straight wins. Next up, October 12th at Houston.
Hot seat. Neil Brown was on it to the nth degree.
It's cooling off.
Yes.
Number
he
6.
came on here, that's why.
That's right. You got it. Number 6, Penn State 41, Northwestern 13. I love their defense, but their offense is so inconsistent at times.
It's just not good.
It's just
Facts,
it's not
not good offensively.
One big thing.
He's not turning the ball over right
No
now.
turnovers.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well,
it's almost impossible. 5 games.
They'll be healthy this week. The Silence of the Lambs, they take on UMass. And a big recruiting week for them. Well, in the summer, they got Quentin Martin out of Bell Vernon. Last week, they got Tyke Harris, one of the best running backs in the state, Aliquippa. And they got the big tight end out of North Catholic, Brady O'Hara, the junior, 6'6", 245, and he's going there. Hey, that's it for us. We run out of time. We'll see you next week.
High school sports, community events, all of your favorite local shows are calling the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel their home. Find out everything your neighborhood has to offer on Channel 100 or on YouTube. Spirit, town pride, local communities. This is the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
My name is Matt Romeo. I've been at Armstrong for almost 9 years now. What I love most about my role as a lead tech is making a difference in my techs that I'm looking after, making a difference in their lives. I make sure that on their jobs, they have the help that they will need. There are so many opportunities to advance in this company. The training has been absolutely first class. Armstrong cares about our customers getting installed and serviced, but they mostly care about us going home at the end of the day.